indicator. And we do this through different training programs with the modules as highlighted. We teach the MSMEs on entrepreneurship, on financial management, on business and strategic planning, operations and value chain management, marketing and business communications, human resource, and legal management. So I'll not go into details about the modules, but after the webinar, maybe you can log into our website at www.nukasme.co.ae just to be able to interact with modules. The website also helps MSMEs be able to interact with one another. So apart from the training, you'll be able to get mentorship. You'll be able to display your business in what we call the entrepreneurs marketplace, and just be able to like highlight your business to the others. And then you can also maybe watch testimonials of other businesses, find out what they are doing, how they are doing it, and you can actually even contact them and just get in touch as businesses to see what you can do for one another. Like I said, we have the Inuka marketplace where you can advertise your business. Just put a profile of your business and people can read about it. If they get in touch with you, they can get in touch with you. Then we have the mentorship. So we are able, once you log in, we are able to, if you request, we are able to map you to a mentor who can be your fellow MSME, maybe in the same sector, or someone who is have more experience than you, so mentor you. So without further ado, I will want to welcome Margaret Kimani. Start us off. As I said, Margaret Kimani is the head of Women and Youth Banking at SBM Bank, and she interacts with SMEs on a daily basis. Therefore, she has deep knowledge in what it takes to run a banking business. She has seen it firsthand from the banking sector on how to run a bankable business. So, Margaret, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm very honored to be here today. Allow me to share the screen. 1 second. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent. Anand, if you let me, can we start with a word of prayer and then I can just proceed?
That's fine.
All right, guys, let's pray. Father, we thank you this afternoon for the opportunity to dialogue and come up with solutions for our business owners. We don't take it for granted. We thank you for Kenya Bankers Association and what they do for this economy. We thank you for SBM Bank and the whole country. We thank you for all the SMEs that have held this country together. We thank you that you've saved us also from this global pandemic. We don't take it for granted. As we start, we ask for your wisdom. We pray that this session will be impactful and that at the end of the day, you shall be glorified. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay. All right, awesome. Like Arnold has already done the introduction, so I'll go straight to 8, but I want to salute everyone that has logged in today. I know it's a busy Friday, you could be elsewhere, but you chose to come here so that we dialogue and also learn from each other, okay? So I'll go straight to 8. Arnold has already introduced me, but long and short of me, without going into so much detail, I believe that all of us have significant contribution and responsibility to play in our economy. Yeah, and that's why I always quote that J.F. Kennedy. There's this speech when he was asking his fellow Americans, my country people, ask not what Kenya can do in our, I'm bringing it home. Ask not what the country can do for you, but instead ask yourself what you can do to add value to our country. So that's usually my mantra. And moving straight to my presentation, today I've been tasked to talk about what a resilient bankable business looks like. As much as many of us, I'm not sure how you guys are dealing. I know we'll have a Q&A session where we can interact and you guys tell me how you're dealing. This crisis, actually, as much as this one has come with a different form and shape as a health crisis, as a disease, we've seen so many other crises. So what I want to task all of us, even as we start, I think the most important thing we can do during this crisis, and even personally what this has taught me, is that trust you guys. If you cannot change the direction of the crisis, if you have no control over COVID-19, the least we can do as human beings, as business owners, is obviously to adjust our, mast and our sail. So that's what I'm asking all of us, even, as you come in, please come in with an open mind. Let's learn together, let's dialogue and come up with solutions. This image here speaks to a strong foundation. This is what we are trying to cure today. We are trying to say, can we look into our foundation of our banking? Because if you're bankable, of course, you also thrive in other places. When you're going to ask, for example, let me pick on one of the companies that Safaricom, for example, because I know all of us use it in one way or another. If you're going to Safaricom and saying, I want this procurement opportunity, or an opportunity, or even other areas that you're in, when you have a strong foundation, a bankable business, it speaks for itself. Let's also not forget, moving to the next, let's not forget that also this is not the first crisis that has happened. Some of you might not know, but God has been so good to me. I think God loves me in a special way because I've seen, I don't know if anybody can tell me what this is, as I look for plug in my charger. Can somebody tell me in the session, can you unmute yourself and tell me what this is all about? I'm trying to, let me charge my, guys, I need a volunteer. This is an interactive session. Can someone tell me what the left is?
Oh, Margaret, this is September 11th bombing. I can also see another hand up.
Can I, who can suggest what is the left? What is the left as I charge my computer? Okay, is there any other volunteer? Anyway, that's September 11, and I survived September 11. I was actually going to America. So really what I'm trying to bring, the message I'm trying to bring home here, please guys, as much as coronavirus is a very serious pandemic, let's remember we've survived others. So we can do it, and we will do it, and we will come out as resilient people, and our businesses must thrive. This one on the left, as you can see, these are soldiers. So usually when soldiers go to a wall, they have no other agenda. Their agenda is just to come out on the other side, to survive. And I think right now, even as we speak, we are the survival stage of this pandemic. So it's very important that we keep that in mind. This is just an outline of what I want to talk about to accomplish at the end of the day. And, I'll start and I'll go straight to it because time is not on our side. I know I have very short time so that we can allow questions. Our data and analytics team at the bank was so kind to do an economic outlook. I don't know if some of you have already done it, but as you can see, this slide just highlights of what is the reality, because you see in banking, and it's a reality even in other sectors. I think numbers don't lie. Somebody sat down, did an analysis, and saw that certain sectors have been hit heavier than others. And here I want to also remind you guys, as much as I've highlighted the sectors that were not so much affected, the sectors that did not shut fully down. But at the same time, as we look at these slides, let's have an open mind to know that even the sectors that are affected is still opportunity. Depending on how you position your business, there's still opportunity. And ICT, as you can see here, the effect, according to this impact assessment, the impact might be low on the ICT. Most people have migrated to working from home. The impact might be low on health because hospitals have kind of stayed open. But that does not mean that simply because the impact was low, does not mean that those businesses have to keep reinventing themselves, looking at other ways of, even beyond this pandemic. So this is important. If you need it, I can always share it with you guys. The high risk areas, guys, also do not forget that they also have a lot of opportunity. Yes, they were hit heavily because, as you know, the hotel, the accommodation, restaurants had to close. But look, I've spoken to so many clients. By the way, my day job involves speaking to customers, supporting. It's what I'm also passionate about. And you know, our joy is to see, like today I was talking to a customer, she's in the restaurant industry. And she's been able to open, of course she has to comply, but it's amazing. So this is not the end. This is, as much as certain factors, you know, certain sectors have been affected, it's not the end of the world. We are in this together, guys. Here I wanted to talk about, you know, guys, even as we go through this bankability, you know, session, what is your unlimited possibility? Have you actually, as a business owner or as a business, have you also thought about, as much as things might be look a bit dull right now with COVID, have you thought of your exponential potential? Remember this caterpillar here, yeah, at some point it opens up and goes through this stage and becomes a beautiful butterfly. So, you know, and I think in Kenya, what I see from my working in different sides of the world, I see that sometimes our scarcity mentality kills our business, yeah? Even as I speak here, you know, I never stop learning. So never stop to learn, and you know, keep an open mind. Let's stay open, because there are many opportunities. I've seen companies diversify to sectors that they would never have thought. Even professionals, I've seen professionals diversify into sectors that you would never even think they would go into. So let's keep that open. And I want to talk about, as I talk about bankability, I thought I insist that to talk about the Maslow hierarchy of needs, because you find that a business that is not meeting even the founder, because most of you that have logged in are founders, yeah? You're the CEO, you're the brainchild of your company, and you find that if you've not taken care of this, if you do not take care of yourself first, guys, you know, the rest goes south. There's a bit of an aspect that if you do not take care of your, you know, belonging, your psychological, sociological self-actualization, as self-esteem, you find that you end up going down the drain. So I want to remind us all, including myself, like today I'm working from home, but it's very important that you take care of this. Even sometimes you find that even when you go to the office, you're not able to be innovative enough. Back to the same, no man is an island also. Even as you take care of yourself, think of ways that you could open up and start partnering, you know, delegating some of the things that you don't need to do. Of course, thinking of legacy, you know, you want to leave a legacy. So going straight to the characteristics of a bankable business. I think globally, these are the key pillars that, you know, when you talk about of a bankable business, it's obviously a business that has positive cash flows, because it's one thing to be making sales, but do you have positive cash flows? And today I made sure, because I'm an investment banker by training, I don't want to bore you with the technical jargons and whatnot, but I think as we go through this, even yourself, you start thinking, what am I missing in my business? What do I not have in this list? And this is not an exhaustive list, yeah? But this gives you a bare, you know, at bare minimum. Are you paying taxes, for example? Have you kept your tax records, up to date? Even during COVID, you know, do you have a strong management team? And even now, God forbid, guys, and I know some things in Kenyan economy, I know different cultures have eased talking about death, you know. Some of us, we have relatives who have, you know, I have a distant cousin we lost in a different country, but you know, it's a reality. I think COVID has brought these realities closer home. And even as a business, it's very important to know, you know, do I have a stable, a strong management team? Has my business been managing costs and risks diligently? You know, because COVID has showed us that, you know, anything can happen overnight, a business can be closed. Look at the education sector, guys, what happened? You know, my baby is at home. I'm having to work from home every other week. And, you know, these are realities. So do you have a strong team? For example, in the banking, my employer has been so kind, and I thank God for this. And I know some of you have also done the same. In our banking sector, we've decided to come up with a rota whereby, God forbid, if Maggie is infected, God forbid, because remember, COVID does not have a, you know, there's no post out COVID, how it looked like. You can be infected. Of course, we are being very responsible, but we've made sure that even if I'm not there, is my staff, do I have enough staff to take care of what I do, to do what I do? Do we have a continuity plan? Of course, moving right along, there's also audited financial statements, guys. This is very important. And even when you cannot audit your financial statements, do you have a reason why, or are you doing something to make sure that you're getting closer to it? One of the reasons, I know probably in this session, we do not have people who have this issue, but I know traditionally, before the M-Pesa of the world came, most people are, putting their money somewhere else. It's very important that you keep your banking transactions, handy and updated. Obviously, also making sure that you keep your banking records properly. And by this, I mean, is your organization registered? I know we have different informal companies that might not be registered, but this is a good window also to say, I've been operating as not a registered, maybe I started from home out of a passion. Have your business registered. Right now, the government has moved most of its services, online. You can do it on e-citizens and other channels. So there's still a window to improve on that if you do not have already. Allow me to talk about the cash flow quadrant, because, and this one I borrow from Robert Kiyosaki. And I dare you guys, during this COVID-19, one of the investments I've made, even for myself personally, is to read books. Let me tell you something. You might not have read Robert Kiyosaki, but you can read the book and gather the knowledge and apply the knowledge. So one of the things he keeps talking about is the difference between your assets and your liability. And okay, there's a bit of noise. Is someone, do you need to mute yourself? Okay, now it's much clearer. Okay, so I was talking about, it's very important, and especially in our African setting, sometimes we do not differentiate between assets and liabilities, and it's very important because at the end of the day, I give this example because, and it's, we have a few examples of, and I know even you guys in your own, in your own area or even in your own estates, you see this a lot. You can find somebody has bought this very flashy vehicle. And I have an example of one of my, in fact, we had to actually walk around with a friend of ours, whereby, he used to tell us, for me to get very good customers, I have to drive our V8. And this V8, remember, is on a loan. Really, and this V8, it's not like, he owns the vehicle. When you do that, as much as, yes, I'm a banker, I would want to lend to somebody, and it's a good thing, but I think prudence is very important. When you acquire certain assets, they actually do more damage to your bankability, yeah? Remember right now during COVID, you will even see people who are in very posh, had posh build, they had office buildings, they had rented office space in very posh places where you cannot even afford the rent. I think it's very important, and I brought this on purpose, and I think if I can share this later on with whoever wants the slides, I can share my email and I can email it to you. Because at the end of the day, differentiating what are the assets, what are these things that are actually bringing you extra income as opposed to denting into your, in your income producing assets, and equity, of course, is the difference between assets, your asset, whatever is left off is what actually makes money. Remember, guys, when we pay rent, let me remind you, because I read another book by a Ugandan writer called Moses. When you pay rent, the rent does not, as much as, and this is something we also talk about in employment. When I pay my mortgage or my rent, I'm not actually, you're paying it to the bank or you're paying it to the landlord. It's not adding value to, yes, it's of course you have to pay, but at the end of the day, is it an asset? Is it your liability? It's very important to think about, because sometimes at the end of the day, you find that you have nothing. In fact, sometimes you're living beyond your means. So it's very important. All of us really purpose to be here, yeah, in the financial freedom zone. Yeah, and at the end of the day, money that we promote the savings culture, and I really urge you guys during this COVID-19 as business owners, every coin, if you can save, it really makes a very big difference. At the end of the day, plan to be here, Because at the end of the day, this money that you save, if you do not invest the savings that you're saving, if you do not invest the money, it means that you'll always be below, your means, meaning that you do not have passive income that is actually coming to you. For example, a dividend that you're paid at the end of the quarter, or rental income that is coming to you. That is now here being an investor. So please, if you can find this book, I don't want to talk a lot about here because this is not the class for it, but please get a hold of this book. You can buy it and read it for yourself. Very important. Flow sets, there's a difference between assets we buy to floss and assets that, that add value to your business. Very important, you cannot talk about bankability without talking about budgets. And I picked just very key points that are very important to keep track of your spending now more than ever. I think if there's a lesson we must all learn, including myself, the COVID-19 lesson. If we do not learn anything else during COVID, because as you know, we do not know the cure yet. I'm not a scientist yet, but I know that because I have very many relatives that are scientists, and living in other more developed countries than here. But I can tell you guys, keep track of your spending. And if possible, write it on a piece of paper here. Yeah, a budget must be written down. Guys, this is the lesson that I've learned myself. And because we don't know how long the economy might be operating the way we are operating. And it's very important. And start small with a realistic budget, have very clear goals. That way, somebody does not call you today and tell you, oh, we are doing this, and then you hop into it. Be very strict about your budget, even as a company, because at the end of the day, and I'll give you an example, in the banking sector, I had the women and youth docket, and a lot of times there are events. In between there are events that sometimes I want to get involved, but you know what? I always have to go back to my budget for the whole year and say, did we put it in our budget? So it's very important even in our own personal lives and even in our businesses. Live within your means, guys. There's a big difference between obviously a need and a want. And as much as this is not the class for it, I don't want to get into too much into the budgeting. I think we can have another session because I know we are partnering with Kenya Bankers Association to make it a continuous journey so that at the end of the day, we can measure and say that we've been able to impact and even you business owners will be able to walk the journey together. But at the end of the day, it's very important. Wants and needs, there's a very big difference. So as you walk this journey, it's very important that you look at your budget, go back, work with your staff if you have a staff, a team, work with your team and see where you can start saving money in your budget. Another issue, another area that I want to cover today is record keeping. I don't think in this session we will have, because you guys are very digi-savvy, you keep your records, even if it's on an Excel sheet, please keep your records, but at the end of the day, also keep your records. What happens in the banking sector is that obviously when at that time, sometimes people don't realize that banks actually, as opposed to you going to Fuliza and all these other places, if your records are good, they speak for themselves. And at the end of the day, some of us might also find ourselves in CRB. And I know this is a thorny issue for many people, but if you do not, yes? Hello?
I just wanted to know why you are moving so fast.
Oh, cool. Who is it? I'm moving fast because I have 30 minutes to present and then we want to open it up to questions.
How about you just take your time so that at least we get to get everything clearly than moving so fast.
Cool. Okay, no problem. I speak quite fast, but I'm not sure. Hold on. If there's a place you want me to go back and repeat, no problem. Yeah, you can tell me. And I think feel free, guys, to stop me at any given place. Yeah, so can I go back here? Is this very clear to everyone? All right, I'll take that as a yes. So I'll go to the next slide. I was talking about record keeping. You see, at the end of the day, some of us,
just a minute,
yeah, sure.
on the previous slide, there was that 50, 30, 20 rule. Can you say something about it?
Okay, this is different people believe different styles, but this is generally globally most people advocate for at least 50% going to your needs, because even as a business, I know you will have obviously to pay your rent, perhaps pay your bills, but individually, I drew this here because individually this could also help somebody. Yeah. Then, of course, we advocate globally. It's advocated, most people advocate for 20% savings. Everything you're making in a month, at least 20% of it should go to savings. This is more for individual. I thought to include this here for individual because it starts with also with yourself. If you're not doing budgets for yourself, it's very hard to do your budgeting for your company as an SME. So yeah, but this is not to say that this is the, different people. Like for example, for me, 10% always go to my tithe. So you can see if I was to follow this, it will throw off my budgeting rule. But globally, in a nutshell, at least your needs should not be taking 90% of your budget, right? And even 20%, guys, you're not confined to the 20%. If you can save more, even if you can save even 50%, the better, the more, the better. Yeah, so I'll move to the next slide. Unless if there's a question, feel free to stop me, guys. Like I said, today we are dialoguing. Don't feel so constrained by, but if I speak so fast, please also, slow me down, and like the gentleman. And yeah, feel free. Okay, so I was talking about. Sure.
Hi, Margaret. I can see a question from Francis Waithaka.
Okay. Okay, cool, excellent. I think okay, Francis, Rosalind, you'll take all the questions, because when slide sharing, I cannot see the whole of the screen, but no problem. You can ask the question.
I think you can just proceed and then I'll ask at the end.
Excellent. Thank you, Francis. Thank you. Thank you so much. And please keep the questions coming. I was rushing because we have a very short window so that we get to talk, we get to ask all the questions. But like the gentleman was so kind to, slow me down. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and I'll go to this record keeping slide. Here, I wanted to also talk about one of the bankability. Sometimes you find that you could be listed on CRB and you're not aware. So I wanted to tell you guys that it's very important that once in a while, not every day, of course, once in a while, even before you get to, maybe you have a need to go, to the bank, especially right now, there's no better time. And I'm not talking about SBM. I'm talking about all of us are banked. Yeah, all of us are banked in different banks, which is a brilliant thing. And, sometimes this is the best time to be talking to your bank, especially if you're in a sector that was affected by COVID, because there are certain opportunities, there are certain, windows of opportunity, there are certain, measures that banks have taken to also cushion our SMEs. Yeah, so, and before you go to the bank, I think it's always good to keep checking your credit report. Yeah. And one of the ways you can see, I've highlighted some of the credit bureaus. Remember, banks don't usually list the customers. There's a process, yeah? And sometimes it's not even banks. It could be a creditor. It could be somewhere you supplied and you did not honor your supply needs, and your creditor might also list you. So it's not always banks, but majority of the listing, of course. Yeah, there are these information I've included here. For TransUnion, you can SMS the number. For Metropole, you just dial *433# and you can get the information. It's actually sent to your phone, and you can Google these guys. They have contacts, they have emails, So it's very important. I'll give you an example. I have a couple who was listed there because their son is in college and he kept borrowing money on the phone on Fuliza. Remember the phone, because he was below 18 years old. the son had borrowed under the parent's name. So these parents found themselves in the CRB and they had no clue, you know. So I feel that this is a very big area, guys. During COVID, let's look at our records and clean them up. There's a procedure, obviously, for getting yourself out of CRB, and you can reach out, you know, to them. And there's a procedure. If it's through the bank, obviously, you can also reach out to the bank. If you had a loan that you probably had 2 shillings on your card and you forgot to pay, and you know they could not reach you. Yeah, so there's hope. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Another slide that I wanted to talk about, without getting into much details, is this one about resilient business. In a resilient business, obviously, guys, must be making some sales, yeah, generating cash. Also, you know, it has to be profitable. And by this, I mean, you know, you can be making a lot of, you can be selling so much, but your cost of generating the products could also be higher. So it has to be one, making sales, selling a product, selling a product or a service, but also it has to be able to generate profits, yeah. And what for us personally, I advocate that you keep different accounts for different things. For example, when the tax is due, I know in Kenya we pay on the 20th as business people. Every 20th, you guys file something with KRA, yeah? And I advocate that you keep separate accounts. Even for your expenses, keep a separate account. You know, for your profit, as a founder, are you paying yourself? You know, keep a separate account for your savings. Right, like right now, guys, COVID has taught us one of the worst or one of the hardest lessons. You know, did you have enough savings? For example, I'll give you an example. There's a client, without saying their name, there's a client who was operating their very posh, nice business, very profitable business at Anniversary Towers. You guys all remember what happened. During the COVID-19, the whole town was closed. Can you imagine this customer has not opened for 3 months? Really, if this customer did not have savings, you know, my heart even bleeds. You know, when, and we've been doing a lot of such visits to our customers. You know, can you imagine this customer? They had to close because, you know, their business is at the heart of the heart. And you can understand, yeah, even when they were reopening, there were new procedures. You know, you have to keep a sanitizer and all the other things you guys have had to do. So it's very important you have an emergency fund, what I call also savings. Keep at least a minimum of 6 months at any given time. And I think this is another lesson for COVID-19. Keep your savings account very well, and not under the mattress, of course. There are also other avenues. I think the other time when KBA invited me, I was talking about investment. You can invest your money also. You know, even if you don't want to keep it in a savings account, when you're going to the bank, part of your bankability, you can tell them, I own stocks. I own 3,000 shares of Safaricom, East African Breweries, whatever you own, you know, and that is also part of your bankability. So I encourage you guys to keep that. Of course, a good, resilient business has order in terms of efficiency, and, you know, delegate the stuff you don't need to do. Maybe focus, you know, have your star performers in your office, have a different, you know, have an efficient structure whereby, you know, even if you're not there, the non-core functions are still going on. And during this COVID, I've seen a lot of companies outsourcing the, you know, the simple stuff. I'll give you an example. Twiga Foods and I believe they are called Sandy. It's a transportation company. So Twiga Foods realized, yeah, we don't have enough trucks. And then, you know, the demand is so much because most of us, when we closed, we were asking supermarkets to even bring fresh vegetables to our house, you know, at the doorsteps. So please look into outsourcing the simple and core stuffs that that do not actually make a big difference in your business. Of course, a resilient business must be impacting and transforming lives. You know, and that's how you're able to defend your market in a competitive world. Then the last one is obviously legacy. Your business, can it outlast you? If I'm not here today, of course I'm employed, but if I was a business owner, would my business continue even if I'm not there? You know, that's what any business looks into. And of course, most of you have different business modules. I don't want to get into that, but it's very important to realize that every part of this is very important. the infrastructure? Is it your, IT? Is it your value configuration? Is it your costing? The distribution channels, products and services, is it differentiated? It's very important, yeah? So I will go straight into it. This is just a snapshot of what does a resilient, a toolkit for a resilient business. And I want to stop here and actually commend Kenya Bankers Association, because you guys, what you're doing and what we do at Citibank or Mauritius is very aligned. We are very passionate. Personally, I can shut my whole office down when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to mentorship, because we believe that when we mentor and we support and empower our customers, we become a better bank, yeah? Because as you know, many of you don't know, but remember, personally, I believe that as a bank, we are nothing without our customers, yeah? The same way with you guys, customers. You're nothing without your customers, yeah, as a business. So for us, we really advocate for, the mentorship, what KBA is doing. I know you have mentorship online very often, I think almost every other week. Leveraging on the networks that are here. Like today, guys, I hope you have an intention to network with somebody you've never met, maybe somebody who is doing a business, who is in a business in your area that you can collaborate and partner. Those are some of the things that you can do. Obviously, innovation is key, guys. And I keep saying, even in this economy where many people are, have had to shut down, forced to shut down by COVID-19, forced to shut down by the, obviously the curfews and the many angles, but if your business is innovative, you always stand out and you always find a way. If you're innovative, if you're open-minded, you always find a way. I've seen so many customers diversify, move into agribusiness. Others have moved into supply, so it's very important. And of course, any business that, that is driven by data, a time has come, and I think this has been accelerated by COVID-19. Data-driven strategy will always be resilient, yeah? And of course, leveraging, leverage means you just, reaching out and being able to, it's like, what do you call it? It's like a lever, you're actually accelerating your business as opposed to just working alone. It's very important. Leverage, even right here in Kenya Bankers Association, are you leveraging what they have? They have a marketplace online. Are you able to leverage that? And of course, mentoring. You do not have to have a Warren Buffett mentoring you, or a Maggie or a Roslyn or a Nuru Mugambi. Mentoring can even be done in your area. You can even go to YouTube and get mentored. So there's so much, guys, that you have that you can take advantage of. Moving right along, this slide is simply to talk about leadership. Let me tell you something, guys. As founders of organization, as founders of businesses, everything rises and falls on, with leadership. And that's a quote by John Maxwell. And it's so true. Look at our country, look at your office, look at everything that you've done. The reason you guys are open, the reason you guys have taken time to log in is because it starts with you as a leader. And I want to applaud and beg you guys, during this COVID-19 window, there's one aspect, perhaps, if you've never used it, please apply it. Empathy in your office. If you're not passionate about what you do, obviously your business has suffered a big deal. If you're not inspired yourself before you can inspire your staff and of course, your customers, it's very important. Even the way you treat your customer, I'm sure you've had to apply a lot of these leadership skills. Empathy, feeling your customer. Sometimes even you're having to go the extra mile for your customer. Very important. And those are the things your customers will remember. And those are the things that will bring you to bankability, because of course you'll be making more money when everything is, is shut down. And your customers remember these small things. Yeah, moving right along, I wanted to bring, I thought to remind you guys, just before COVID-19, I think all of you remember that our very own Ineos, Mr. Ineos, he had his own pace setters and he made us so proud as a Kenyan country, yeah? But, you know, and for me, what that story reminds me, even the day I'm feeling like I don't want to get up and walk, go downstairs and walk, I always remind myself, in the middle of every difficulty, as big as this COVID-19, there's opportunity. But you know, at the end of the day, it matters who your pace setters are in business. And I want to pause there and ask you guys, who are your pace setters? Yeah, does anyone want to volunteer? Because that's the reason actually we exist as a bank. Who are your pace setters? Does anyone want to volunteer, or I move on? Going once, going twice. Who are your pace setters? Yeah, because who is walking the journey with you guys during this time? Yeah, even like I said, Albert Einstein is very famous for saying, during this COVID-19, you can see these guys, are they not looking bankable? Yeah, in right here in Kenya, and I'm not talking America where I've lived for 10 years and banked for 10 years. I'm talking here, right here in Kenya. Yesterday, I just got this news of this Daktari who has been awarded 1.8 billion. Is that a bad bankability or a good one? I think this, you know, all these guys, and these are very young people in, I know JKUAT and Kenyatta University. Then there was this gentleman, I think, I don't know, you know, he's based somewhere in Kenya, and he, you know, he's making this metal bed, and he's secured such a, you know, a certain tender to offer to, you know, to make government beds. Not bad, yeah. And I think at this point, I would want to tell you guys what State Bank, I know some of you have heard about SBM Bank, but we are a state-owned bank. And I'm bringing this slide here. It was very intentional for me because I wanted to tell you guys that we are doing pace setting for a lot of our customers. I hope some are tuned in as I speak today, because I know there are many tuned in. And we are a 50-year-old plus bank out of Mauritius. We are in 4 countries: India, Seychelles, Madagascar, and of course, Kenya is our African hub. And what we do is we set pace for customers. We are, you know, we live, smoke, and breathe customers, and especially in the SME space. What happened, some of you might not know, we are not straight from Mauritius. We've been here for a while. We entered, you know, Kenya in 2017, where we bought a small bank called Fidelity. Then in 2018, in August 2018, we actually this was our anniversary last month. We just entered this market and we bought 75% of Chase Bank. Yeah, only the good assets. Yeah. So I think it's very important. This is our headquarters back in Mauritius. And like you know, we have 52 branches all over Kenya. And our pillar, and this is why we are working closely with the Kenya Bankers Association. Our pillars are very simple. We want to empower. We want to be part of the success story. And we've been doing this for a while. And actually some of the reason, you know, for some of us, we are very passionate about the Kenyan economy. Personally, I came back home because I want to contribute to our country. I'm very proud. I'm proudly Kenyan. You know, a lot of us, the reason that we wake up every morning is because of our SME. Once we educate our SMEs, including our women who I take care of, we want to empower them. And once we've empowered them, we want to protect their assets. You know, we want to protect their bankability, of course, by growing and preserving their assets. You know, I don't know if you have a question up to here. You know, you get to enjoy all the benefits, including banking from home. Yeah. These are some of the recommendations we are making in terms of bankability. Yeah. You know, right now, you guys might not know that you can call your relationship officer. It doesn't matter whether you're banking with whichever bank you're working with. Bankability tells you, and for us, we are saying here, that call your bank, because right now, when COVID happened, most banks are able to extend to you installment-free periods. Yeah. And if you work with your bank, obviously, if you work with us and if you work with other banks, they'll tell you what sectors are affected and what they have for those sectors. You know, look into the government support packages. Yeah. I know National Treasury had, you know, they've come up with their own kitty for distressed SMEs. And you can reach out. Those are also your benefits. You know, right now we are talking, I just spoke about budgeting and reducing costs, prudently managing your risk and costs. please look into looking at, perhaps you had some contracts with consultants, maybe in a different country. I think this is the window for you to look into those packages and renegotiate. Yeah, also reviewing at some software licenses that you're not using right now. Talking to your suppliers, negotiate the terms of payment. And by the way, this has happened. I've helped so many customers even speak to their landlords in their offices, because most customers perhaps migrated their business to working from home, and you're still paying rent. That is also your, guys, I always say, what do you have? You have nothing to lose just asking, and it makes it a win-win, because when the businesses are reopening like right now, that landlord does not lose you as a customer. Also communicating with your customers. I'll give you an example. When Java closed, you remember Java closed, and so many other restaurants, I'm sure, are doing the same. When you keep sending those SMSs that you're sending, and I know we do the same, we talk to our customers through SMS and calling, but when you keep communicating to your customers, when the businesses reopen, the customers will obviously remember you as top of mind. Yeah, so don't just close your doors. I have seen some customers have also gone to shags, others have traveled, others have gone to their rural home or whatever. But if you're not communicating constantly to tell your customers that we are still in business, they'll forget about you, and be transparent with your staff, be very transparent with your staff so that they know. And also, yes?
Just to alert you that we have like 10 minutes to go.
No problem. I'll be winding up. In fact, this is, I have 2 more slides and then I'm done. I was talking about keep acknowledging your staff, the good efforts your staff are doing. I know some of your staff, they are really going out of your way to, to keep your business open, top of mind. So recognize the efforts, communicate with them, be transparent. Account receivables is obviously it's a major source of liquidity. So aggressively, if you had any people with your debt, including companies who have not paid you, please really you should have already been very aggressive in your collections. Again, I said, keep dialogue, open your dialogue, stay open with your creditors, yeah? Because this is a window, everyone is having empathy, and the most you can do not hide, do not run, do not shut your offices and just run. It's very important that you keep those dialogues open. I talked about innovating, yeah? Think of new ways you can generate income, even if it's diversifying in other sectors. I can go on and on and on, but this is in a nutshell, of course, stay compliant, partner with, other distribution channels. I gave an example here of Glovo. You remember Glovo, a few months, I think, before COVID, they were making a lot of promotions. Then they realized, Uber Eats, so they partnered with Glovo, and Uber Eats partnered with Glovo, and look at what they're doing now. I'll give you also another example of supermarkets. Supermarkets have been partnering with delivery companies, and they are delivering to our houses, yeah, which is brilliant. And of course, do not assume that crisis will not end, guys. Plan for when the crisis ends and collaborate with other, like-minded businesses to do more. Jumia, I give the example of Jumia and, Twiga Foods, what they're doing with the transportation. I think this slide is very important, guys. I hope you're aware that your bank, it doesn't matter whether it's SBM or other banks, your banks have all these facilities. I talked about the repayment period was extended. You have all these solutions. At SBM Bank, we had to open our unsecured lending for micro, the SME sector, up to the tune of 5 million. These are things that are there. If you're, for example, a supplier who is importing COVID-19 PPE commodities or equipment, we have certain import finance arrangements. So those are facilities that you should. If you're a big corporation and you have a work scheme for your employees, those are also repayment holidays are there, and you have even interest negotiations. Of course, we have also opened up our supplier procurement opportunities. And this year alone, I'll tell you, 22 businesses have been able to secure businesses from SBM Bank. So these are things that you can take advantage of. I'll not dwell into this, but I want you guys to know that there are 3 R's in this COVID-19 lockdown. We all responded, we recovered. I think by now most of us have recovered. We are back to our offices and you're opening your businesses. But this window we are in, this stage we are in is of resilience, yeah? So keep building your resilience and we shall overcome. And I want you guys to reiterate that your bankability obviously depends on how good the relationship you have with your bank. Don't just, disappear and come back. Keep in touch with your bank. Maybe there are even facilities. Like right now, I've seen MasterCard Foundation is reaching out to banks, and we are actually working, many organizations, including Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. There are many windows. People have been very kind during this COVID-19, and there are different solutions that are coming up. So stay in touch with your bank. Let them be your merchants of hope, like we are, and let them pace the set for you. There's information you might not be aware of, so just keep the dialogues open. Yeah, I think over to you, Arnold.
Thank you so much, Maggie, for the insights. So I think at this point in time, we want to invite questions. So just raise your hand and we'll be able to pick you up to ask a question. So I will go first, Maggie, and I think many businesses, in terms of their bankability, they keep asking, as a bank, when you're looking at the bankability of an SME, is there a separation between the business and the person? For example, if a business comes for, let's say, a loan facility,
yes,
do you look at, let's say, if you're looking at, let's say, the credit score, do you look at the credit score of the person and also the business? Is there a separation between the two?
Okay, very good question. I'm glad you've asked it because it's a fact and it's true. I think in this aspect, it depends on the business, yeah? So when, for example, a limited liability company, let me give an example because we are listed in the Mauritian Exchange. Let me give an example of SBM Bank. When you're looking at SBM Bank, of course, there'll be that question of who is running, who is the CEO, correct? But now let me bring it home to the SME sector, whereby sometimes you find that the founder, sometimes even you find some businesses are owned by one person. In fact, it's like, how do you call it, sole proprietor. Yeah, so at that angle, you must look at the character. Remember, I don't know if KBA has gone through the credit, analysis. I can do a session with you guys and I can invite one of the one of the credit companies that actually handle this day in, day out. But long short of it, character. So character talks about the owner of the business. And that's why sometimes when you're applying for a loan, they'll say who will be running. For example, if I'm applying for a loan to go and what can I call it? Maybe start making, give me an example of a business. Start making, do a construction. They'll always ask who is the, who will be the architecture. So you cannot separate the character of the business owner for sure. So depending on the size of the business, we must look at the character, because the character will also tell you that if this person, they are repaying ability, have they defaulted in the past? And that's why back it's tied to the credit report. You see in your CRB, we are able to tell, have this person defaulted before? Yeah. Has this person for example, unpaid checks before? Yeah, so we are able to look into that. So you cannot really separate characters, especially for smaller business. The person, the owner of the business, you cannot separate the two.
Okay, thank you, Maggie.
But can I give you some encouragement? What COVID-19 has made the banking sector to do, and it's something that I've been with many of us in the banking sector, including Nuru. I know she's very instrumental in this. We are coming up with other ways of evaluating credit. Let me give you an example. In Boston, where I live, if I walk into SBM, let's assume SBM was there. If I go to State Bank of Boston, when I walk in, they get my social security number, which is equivalent to KRA PIN in Kenya. They punch it in a system. and that system pulls all my record from my high school to everything. So we in Kenya, this is where I know we are far from it, because like record keeping has not been digital in the past. As you know, you guys know, it's obviously a Kenyan, it's a societal, I think it's where we are coming from, yeah? But in the future, in the near future, we will look at other metrics to evaluate somebody's credit. And I can't wait for that day. So there's still hope. And even the people who borrow, for example, in the fintechs, they use a different metric, which I don't want to discuss now because I don't represent them. They use different metrics to lend to you, So all is not lost. There's still a lot of hope. And I think during COVID, many companies are moving towards that. So hopefully in the future, we do not have to look at you as a person, look at your business. It should be separated, to be honest.
Okay, thank you, Maggie. I think we have a question from Lydia. Lydia, can you go ahead and ask your question?
Cool.
I don't know, is it me? Because I am winning. I think probably someone logged into this machine using it.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So my question is, you had mentioned that I'm from the hospitality and tourism industry, which of course was affected long before Kenya started shutting down. And you mentioned that the banks have put in place, measures to cushion people. Now, I do know colleagues within my industry who took loans for different things, and they went back to discuss with the banks, how to reschedule the loan and everything, and they were given 3 months. But remember, our sector still has not woken up. So banks, you will find, and I'm glad KBA is on this call, because the banks will continue having people call you. So there's different people calling you. There's someone calling you today, and then there's someone calling you tomorrow and the day after, and you're having to explain your story to one agent, to the next, and to the other person. But I talked to someone yesterday, so I have friends and colleagues who are saying, in fact, this is just a story. When you're being told that the banks are going to reschedule it, there's nothing, because you write emails, you've told them in as much as 3 months are over, our sector, hotels are still closed, So, why can they be a little bit more understanding? So probably also KBA can tell me what it is they're doing to banks, so that people do not start getting, you're being called every single day. You even want to keep, I know a friend of mine who even said she just have a recorded conversation, so that when that call comes, she just plays that recording to the next person, because you're also not sharing as staff. If you've called one person, Catherine, today, why is the next person, another staff member, still calling that same Catherine? They were told already yesterday that my situation has not improved. So yes, so for me, I want honesty. Let's not just have this become a cliche that banks are putting measures, things to cushion people. We are hearing people are doing crazy things. So where is this cushion?
Awesome. Lydia, I totally feel you, because to be honest, because we are in the Kenyan sector, it's even depressing. I can imagine somebody calling you for the same, could it be a repayment or, a loan that is due? Honestly, and I apologize on behalf of the whatever bank it is, but it's depressing. Let's just call it as it is without calling, sugarcoating it. And I don't know, Lydia, perhaps I don't know if you're okay, if you can share your details later on. I can have a call with you, because part of the role we play is also advocacy. Your sector, I cannot even tell you personally. The hotel are our customers, a big deal, and you can imagine your sector is not awake until maybe another 1 or 2 months. So really, we've been lobbying even the tourism ministry to see. I believe there's a kitty that has come up. I don't think it's ready yet, but for us, because we have customers in that sector, that's a reason we have to lobby and bring some senses to the tourism fund to come up with a fund to cushion you guys, because it's a reality. I mean, look at the big hotels in town. It was almost like a heart attack for some of us, to hear that they are even shutting down. What about the smaller businesses in the restaurant and, tourism industry? So I have to agree with you, but I know for sure there's a fund. But at the same time, Lydia, you should not be getting 1 million calls every month. That is a fact. That is sure. That is also depressing. You should not be getting, if you've spoken to one person the first time, that information should be saved in a, for us, we use there's a certain tool we use to know that, for example, let's assume you're in Kilifi and the branch manager, you had already spoken to your branch manager there, and the branch manager should be aware and should communicate to the entire ecosystem to say that we have an arrangement with Lydia. Her company is XYZ, and we need to have another meeting perhaps in a quarter, you know, and that information should be relayed out there. So I don't want to talk to different banks, but KBA perhaps can comment. But Lydia, I would be so glad to engage with you, but I'll tell you for free, your sector should be one of the ones that are actually in that extension, the payment holidays you should be enjoying. You know, can you imagine somebody calling, even myself, I'll be so pissed. I'm telling you for free. If somebody was calling me every day, every month, honestly, it's annoying. I don't have another polite word. And I'm not here to defend banks. We are here to have dialogue so that this information, me, myself, and Kenya Bankers Association is picking this feedback. And yeah, it's a bit sad, but you know, we have to help our customers. We don't exist as banks, you know, to look good or to, you know, we are nothing without you guys. We are nothing without the customers. So at the end of the day, no customer should, you know, be called every day, but there should be an arrangement. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, banks will obviously, the credit department will want to know that there's a commitment. Another thing I want to encourage you, Lydia, is that you have a right of restructuring. I don't know if your bank, you know, has reached out to you. You have a right because your sector is a no-brainer. It has been thoroughly affected. You know, you have a right of restructuring. For example, if you're paying a certain amount that time and you've even shut down, you have a right to restructure and have an extension. And on top of that, a payment holiday. So if you don't mind, if you allow Rosalind or Arnold to share my contact, I can share with you more for your sector. Yeah, Arnold, over to you.
Sorry, Lydia, I think we've taken that as feedback. But as Maggie has indicated, I think sometimes it's good to have a conversation with your relationship manager, so that, as Maggie has said, you can restructure in terms of whether you're getting both principal and interest moratorium, so that it's system based, it's contract based. Because I think sometimes when the bank keeps calling, maybe the restructuring is not contract based, but we apologize for that as an industry. We've taken that as feedback and we will be able to, yes?
Arnold, I'm so sorry, I forgot to mention to Lydia, the worst, and this one I'll say without any, you know, fear of contradiction. As customers, please do not shut, what do you call it? I don't know the word to use. Do not shut off your bank, yeah? And I'm not talking here, I'm talking in general for banks. You know, it's the same thing with, if I owe you money, Arnold, if I keep quiet, there's always that, you know, and that's why at the beginning of my slides, I said, let's encourage dialogue. Guys, dialogue is very important. Even that landlord, you know, if you keep quiet and you've closed, you put your padlock on your office and they can still see your computers, you know, there's that agitation, and I think it's human, yeah? So I encourage you, Lydia, be very bold. Do not shy away. If I'm sure maybe you had spoken to your bank officer, relationship officer, or your branch manager, but do not shy away. I know in your case, it's not the case. You've reached out, I think you've reached out to your bank or who, you know, like you explained, but I'm encouraging the other SMEs, do not shy away. Do not shy away. It's actually your right. Do not shy away. Do not keep quiet. Do not shut down and go to a different location or work from home. Just make it clear, you know, my sector was affected. This is what it is. And they'll ask you just to produce a certain document, you know, because it's documents. Unfortunately, in Kenya, we do not have a, you know, a pool of system where you can plug in like other markets that I've worked in. But, you know, just keep please, I encourage and I repeat a million times, keep your dialogue open because you have so many opportunities and so many rights at this COVID window. So go over to you, Arnold.
Maggie, I can see we are really running out of time. Maybe we can have 2 more questions and we can keep them brief. I think Waithaka had earlier indicated he had a question, and also I saw Ted had raised his hand. Okay. So if they have questions, maybe we just take those 2 and we try to keep them short within maybe 4 minutes so that we can close because time is not really on our side.
Okay. Waithaka, over to you.
I think maybe they have changed their mind. So okay, I think maybe at this point we would like to close, and I would like to thank you, Maggie, for plugging in and sharing with us. And I would like also to thank everyone. For the participants, I would like to encourage you to get in touch with us through our platform or directly. We have so much content to be able to help your business during this time. The things Winnie is going through, those are the feedback that you want to have, and also just engage on different topics. So at this point in time, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in, and we meet next time. I'm sure if we have another webinar, we'll communicate. I don't know, Maggie, if you, because you started with a word of prayer, I don't know if you want to close with one.
All right. You know, I had a few things that I wanted to speak about, but it's fine. I don't know if, can you allow me 2 seconds? 2 seconds to project. Is that okay?
Maybe 1 minute.
1 second. Yeah, you have to time it. It's no problem. Let me see. To share. No? It's fine. Oh, I was sharing. Okay, allow me to share. I think I am on. Yeah, I wanted to share some of the things we've been doing so that you guys as SMEs, you can be. Can you see the slides, Arnold?
Yes, yes.
I want to just tell the SMEs here in this space to be very aware because we have 5 SME hubs all over the country. 5. 3 of them being in Nairobi, 1 in Mombasa, 1 in Nakuru. We are coming up with, there's 1 in Kisumu, but it's small. So these are some of the things we've been able to do. We have partners, like I said, we play a very big role in advocacy. You can see here we were working with the African Development Bank to train together with the likes of Facebook and Kenya Revenue, you name it, Facebook, to train people how to bring their, to take their businesses online. You know, we believe, just like Kenya Bankers Association, we handhold our customers, yeah? If it means shutting our offices down and going and walking the journey with customers, we believe in that customers are the reason we exist. Of course, you can see we go as far as Kajiado County, all counties we are there. We've been able to also play a part. It's not just banking customers, it's also reaching out the vulnerable communities in our, like this is a children's home. This is Shopco, as you know, they do a lot of work in the informal sector. I think you guys don't know our CEO. He's right there. He's called Mr. Moez. And as you can see, we are in all counties. I just took a few snapshots of, this is Machakos, this is Kisumu County. We work with the county government because let me tell you something, you can't work alone and succeed. Yeah. We have very different big partners in the International Trade Center. We work because right now, guys, most people that who are exporting, just like Lydia in the tourism sector, the people who are exporting were also affected. So we are trying to bring back, working with Visa, UPS, to make sure that our customers can export. You saw the other day that Kenya is shining for avocado export. We want to hear more of such stories. Of course, we don't discriminate. Even our men, we are really keeping them in touch, within the bank, as you know, we have
Maggie, your time is almost up.
Okay, last comment. Please allow me to talk about SBM has opened its supplier diversity opportunities for both men and women. We offer internships. Some of you know, it's very important you know that. And you can look at this information because you can see here it's online, yeah? So feel free. We opened it in July again. I think they'll be opening up again. These are some of our customers. And as I close, I want to appreciate all of you guys. and tell you that the most effective vaccination, prescription, not COVID prescription, the most important vaccine to deal with this major crazy crisis is obviously gratitude. The more you're grateful, the little you have right now, it doesn't matter you've closed your offices or, you know, like Lydia, her business, and my heart goes out to you, Lydia, and many other SMEs. But the least you can do right now is be grateful that you've not been, you know, affected by COVID. You're not using a ventilator in the hospital. You're still alive. So the rest we shall rebuild. Yeah, with your help, with our help, with the help of Kenya Bankers Association, you obviously shall rebuild your business. So stay, hang on, and don't forget about yourself. Just be grateful, and let's start rebuilding resilient, bankable businesses. And I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. There are many opportunities I wanted to talk about. I think I've mentioned some here. Bitco is looking for, please allow me, I'd even forgotten. Bitco is our partner. Remember I said we play a big lobbying role to lobby private sector to offer opportunities, because the leaders, the many businesses, the Waidakas need opportunity, even as we look to reopening. Even if you're in a sector that has been hit hard, guys, I really urge you, and from the bottom of my heart, look at other opportunities, yeah? Where, for example, Bitco is looking for, maybe you shut down your transportation business, but Bitco is looking for, you know, transporters and distributors who can distribute their oil, you know, and so many other, I can go on and on. Come, UN itself is based in Gigiri. They are our partners. I told you guys we are, you know, we are signatory. UN has a huge procurement opportunity. Check their website, you know, and many others. I can go on. And yeah, that's it. The best way to predict the future, guys, is simply to create it now. Yeah. So you and I have a role to play, and we keep, you know, we keep working with you, and we are here at your service. Anytime you call us, we are just a phone call away. Let's rebuild our businesses, because we are the backbone of this nation. Without you, we are nothing. Without you, Kenya has nothing. So I stop sharing, and thank you so much, Arnold. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you for Kenya Bankers and all the people who logged in. We are super honored to serve. You know, we are here to serve you, and we are here at your service. Reach out to us. Whether you're our customer or not, it doesn't matter. We are here to make a change, make a difference. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie.
God bless you.
Thank you, Maggie, and thank you everyone for logging in. I think we will end our session there. So we will share the slides. I think Rosalind has the contacts of everyone. So we'll be able to, those guys who had requested for the slides, so we'll be able to share the slides with you. So asanteni sana, and have a lovely evening.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day. Take care.